This year's flu season is almost here. 10,000 Texans died in last year's flu season. But a new study underway right here in San Antonio is trying out a new vaccine that could be made faster to allow for 2 vaccines in a season if the first one is ineffective, which of course would save lives. Eyewitness News reporter Jeremy Baker explains.
Joan Ahrens used to work as a microbiologist, and in 75 years, she said she's never had the flu.
Never once. I try to take care of myself, try to get enough sleep, try to eat as best I can.
She knows the importance of getting a flu shot, so that's why she's taking part in this flu shot study for seniors.
Anything that brings us closer to understanding more to help other people is what it's about.
Flu vaccines have been shown to be 80% effective in preventing flu-related death among seniors. The high-dose vaccine contains 4 times the amount of antigen as a regular flu shot.
This is a flu vaccine trial using a new plant-based development process.
Unlike the current flu shot, which is inoculated in eggs.
The process time for an egg vaccine is much longer and much more difficult. With this plant-based one, the process is a lot smoother, a lot shorter.
That means if the original flu vaccine for a season is deemed to be ineffective, there would still be time to make a second vaccine to battle the virus. That's especially important for seniors.
The elderly immune system is not as healthy as it was when we were younger.
54% to 70% of seasonal flu-related hospitalizations have occurred among people 65 years or older. And 70 to 85% of seasonal flu-related deaths have occurred in that age group as well.
The idea of people dying from the flu is just kind of disturbing to me.
So get that flu shot to protect you and those around you too.
We depend on a herd immunity for protecting everybody from it.
Jeremy Baker, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.